everything I've felt, everything I've wanted to say, but never found the courage to. This is me, being honest, being real, and hoping it reaches you. I've been holding on to this for longer than I can remember, feeling it in moments I couldn't speak, in quiet spaces where only my thoughts were loud enough to carry the weight of it all. Every time I thought of reaching out, of saying the words that have been living inside me, I hesitated, because there's a fear in exposing what is fragile, yet so fierce, a fear in showing someone the rawness of your heart when it beats so openly and vulnerably. But here I am, in this moment, hoping that somehow, somewhere, you're watching this, that these words, this truth, will find their way to you, and that you'll understand not just what I say, but everything I've been feeling in the spaces between. I hope you see it, because I have tried, every single day, to carry this quietly, to hold it like a secret flame, letting it light the corners of my existence, even when no one else could witness it. There have been mornings when the thought of you made it hard to breathe, evenings when the memory of your smile filled the emptiness around me with a strange kind of warmth that was both comforting and painfully reminding, nights when the silence of my room became a canvas for the voice in my mind that whispered your name over and over, quietly, desperately, like a prayer that couldn't find a church. And I hope you feel it too, because love, in its truest form, isn't always about grand gestures or perfect timing. Sometimes it's about the quiet constancy of someone thinking of you, carrying you with them, even when the world seems too heavy, too loud, or too complicated. I have lived in those moments of quiet thought, tracing the lines of who you are in my mind, trying to capture the essence of you in ways often fail to, and yet, here I am, attempting again, hoping that these words might reach a place inside you that I've dreamed of touching, a place that feels the same relentless pull that my heart feels every time I think of you. And the truth is I don't know if you'll ever see this, if you'll ever truly understand the weight of what I'm trying to say, but I have to believe in the possibility, in the chance that somehow, somewhere, you are watching this, and that this moment, fragile as it is, might be the bridge between what's inside me and what exists between us. I hope you see the small pieces of my soul scattered here, the little fragments of hope, longing, fear, and courage intertwined, because they are all parts of the same truth, that I care for you more deeply than I've ever cared for anything else, that your presence, even at a distance, shapes the way I move through the world, the way I see it, the way I understand what it means to connect with another human being in a way that transcends words, gestures, and even time. And so I speak these words into the quiet, hoping they travel across whatever space lies between us, hoping they land softly in your heart in a way that is unmistakable, undeniable, and yet gentle, because this love, this feeling, is not meant to overwhelm or suffocate, but to exist quietly and persistently, like the undercurrent of a river that runs beneath everything else, shaping the landscape of my life without anyone else even knowing it's there. And there are times when I replay memories in my mind, tiny fragments of moments that felt like everything, moments where a glance, a laugh, a shared silence carried more weight than any grand declaration ever could, and I hold on to those, hoping that they matter to you as much as they matter to me, hoping that in some way these memories are bridges that connect us, reminders that the heart remembers in ways that the mind cannot always explain. I've tried to be patient, to wait for the right time, the right words, the right moment, but I realize now that there is no perfect time, no flawless delivery, only this present, only the act of saying what has been unsaid for so long, only the hope that you are watching this and feeling, if not the full depth, then a fraction of the intensity that lives inside me. And so I continue knowing that vulnerability is risky, knowing that exposing the parts of me that ache for you could lead to disappointment, misunderstanding, or silence. And yet doing it anyway, because love without courage is just a quiet ache, a shadow that never truly comes into the light. And I want this love to be in the light, to be real, to be seen, to exist in a way that matters beyond the confines of my mind. And there's a longing that threads through every thought, a constant pull toward you that I cannot ignore, a rhythm in my chest that beats in time with the idea of you, with the possibility of us, with the simple truth that your presence, your existence, your being has altered the very way I experience life, the way I perceive beauty, the way I understand what it means to be alive and to care for someone in a way that is both exhilarating and terrifying. And in these moments, I hope you watch this. I hope you understand. I hope you feel even a fraction of what I feel. Because if love is meant to be shared, if connection is the highest form of understanding, then these words, this attempt at honesty is my offering, fragile and imperfect as it may be, but from a place that is unshakably sincere, unwavering, and devoted. And so I speak, and I hope, and I reach, and I wait in the quiet knowledge that even if these words never meet your eyes, even if this message drifts into nothingness, the act of saying them has changed me, has defined a part of my existence that cannot be taken back, a part of my heart that has dared to hope against the odds, dared to exist fully in its truth, dared to carry you within it, even when the world seems to demand otherwise, even when silence would be safer, easier, less exposing. And I want you to know, in every small way that words can carry it, that this hope is constant, that this care is unwavering, that the thought of you shapes my mornings, my nights, my quietest breaths, my loudest moments, in ways that are subtle yet profound, in ways that are inseparable from who I am, and that cannot be erased, hidden, or ignored, no matter the circumstances, no matter the distance, no matter the fears that attempt to whisper otherwise. And so I continue to speak, to let these words pour out, imperfect, uneven, vulnerable, because that is all that love asks of us, to be honest, to be present, to show up for someone even when it is difficult, to reach across the space that separates us, and trust that in doing so we are doing the right thing, the true thing, the thing that carries meaning beyond ourselves. And in this moment, I hope you are watching this. I hope that somehow the essence of what I am trying to communicate, the mixture of longing, hope, admiration, and unwavering care, reaches you, resonates with you, touches a part of you that knows, that feels, that has waited for honesty, for recognition, for someone to simply speak the truth of their heart without expectation, without pretense, without anything but pure intent. And as I speak these words, I feel the weight of them, the gravity of what it means to lay your heart bare, the courage it takes to speak in the face of uncertainty. And yet, there is no other choice, no other path that feels as necessary, as alive, as true, because love, when it exists, when it persists, when it refuses to be silent, demands expression, demands being seen, demands being offered, even when the outcome is unknown, even when the future is unwritten, even when all that exists is this fragile, fleeting present, and the hope that you, wherever you are watching this, are feeling this, are understanding this in the deepest way that words can attempt to convey. And that is enough to keep me speaking, to keep me hoping, to keep me loving, to keep me reaching across the distance that separates us, across the time that has passed, across the silence that has existed for far too long, toward the possibility, toward the connection, toward the truth that what I feel is real, persistent, and unwavering in its sincerity, in its depth, in its courage, and in its hope. There's a quiet part of me that has always been waiting for this moment, waiting to reach out in the only way I can, hoping that you are there, somewhere, watching this, feeling even a fraction of what I feel. Every thought of you lingers, subtle and unrelenting, shaping my days and my nights, threading through memories and possibilities, reminding me that connection is more than proximity, more than words, more than timing. It's a presence, a pulse, a recognition that exists even when you cannot see it, even when I cannot reach you, and yet it persists, patient, unwavering, quietly demanding that I speak, that I let you know, that I hope you are watching this and feeling the same gravity that your existence has created in my life. Sometimes I wonder if you even realize the weight of the space you occupy in my world, how every small detail about you, a smile, a glance, a laugh, echoes in ways I can't control, shaping my thoughts, my choices, my quietest moments. And I hope you're watching this because it's not just a message, It's the collection of all the unspoken truths, all the things I've carried silently, all the ways I've loved you without saying it, and now, finally, I am letting it out, trusting that somehow, it reaches you and reminds you that you matter more than I can ever fully express, that your existence has changed me in ways that words struggled to capture, and yet here I am, speaking anyway, because love like this demands being seen, being acknowledged, being offered even when the outcome is uncertain. There is a part of me that has always existed quietly, persistently, a part that waits and watches, that notices things that no one else does, that remembers details about you that you might not even realize you left behind in the way you move, the way you speak, the way you exist in the world, and I have held on to these fragments, these pieces of you that have become part of my own existence, because love, when it is real, when it is undeniable, does not ask for permission, it does not pause for timing or convenience, it simply exists, it persists, it grows quietly, insistently, through every day and every night, shaping the way I experience life, shaping the way I see moments, shaping the way I breathe and carry myself even when the world does not notice, even when no one else would understand. And I hope you're watching this because this is the closest I have ever come to giving voice to a truth that has lived in me for so long that it sometimes feels inseparable from who I am, a truth that I cannot ignore, a truth that insists on being spoken, even when I'm afraid of the consequences, even when I fear misunderstanding, even when the possibility of silence looms over me like a shadow, because this feeling, this love, is bigger than fear, bigger than doubt, bigger than all the reasons I could find not to say it, and I hope you understand that every word I speak, every pause, every hesitation, every breath carries with it the weight of my heart, carries with it the hope that somehow, somewhere, you will feel it, that somehow, somewhere, you will understand that this is more than words, more than a video, more than a fleeting expression. It is a part of me, offered to you in its rawest form, unfiltered, unguarded, unafraid. I remember the first time I realized that what I felt for you was different, that it was not just admiration or fondness, that it was something that reached into the very core of me, something that made my chest tighten and my thoughts wander, something that lingered long after the moment had passed, refusing to leave, refusing to be quiet, refusing to be contained, and it scared me in ways I had not expected, because when you care about someone this deeply, there is no guarantee, there is no script, there is no promise that your feelings will be received or returned in kind, and yet that fear is intertwined with hope, because hope is the only thing that allows the heart to take risks, the only thing that allows courage to exist where vulnerability has been stripped bare, the only thing that allows someone to say, I hope you're watching this, because in the hope, there is a bridge, a chance, a possibility that what I feel is seen, acknowledged, understood, and perhaps even shared, and that possibility, however fragile, however uncertain, is worth more than a lifetime of silence. I have replayed memories in my mind countless times, small moments that might have seemed insignificant, the way you laughed at something simple, the way your eyes met mine for just a second, the way your presence can fill a room without a single word, and in each memory, I found pieces of a story that only I could tell, a story where you exist as the center of a universe that has quietly revolved around the thought of you, around the idea of you, around the hope that you might one day understand just how deeply you are woven into the fabric of my life. And I speak now because the weight of carrying it silently has become too heavy, because love, when it is real, demands expression, demands honesty, demands that even when everything else is uncertain, even when everything else is unpredictable, the truth of your heart is offered freely, without pretense, without conditions, without expectation, because love in its truest form is not about reciprocity, it is not about timing, it is not about convenience or fairness, it is about being real, being present, being honest in the quietest and most profound ways, and I hope you see that, I hope you feel that, I hope you understand that this is more than words, more than a moment, more than a gesture, and it is coming from the very deepest part of me, that has waited patiently, that has hoped endlessly, that has existed in a space of constant awareness, of constant thought, of constant care for someone who may not even know the extent of what they mean to me, and yet that does not diminish the intensity, the persistence, the unwavering presence of this feeling that has carried me through days and nights when everything else seemed uncertain, everything else seemed impossible, everything else seemed fleeting, because in the thought of you, there is permanence, there is meaning, there is a reason to continue, to persist, to hope, to reach out even when the distance seems insurmountable, even when the world does not cooperate, even when silence seems like the easier choice, the safer choice, the choice that avoids risk, and yet I cannot choose silence. I cannot choose avoidance, because love like this refuses to be hidden, refuses to be ignored, refuses to be small. I hope you are watching this because in some unspoken way I need you to see not just what I feel, but why I feel it, why it matters, why it has changed me in ways that are subtle, yet profound, in ways that affect how I move through life, how I think, how I connect, how I understand what it means to care, to hope, to exist alongside someone whose presence is both a comfort and a challenge, whose being has introduced me to parts of myself I did not know existed, whose essence has reshaped the landscape of my heart without fanfare, without drama, without recognition, quietly but undeniably. And I hope that by seeing this, by hearing this, by feeling this, you understand that love is not always about grand gestures or perfect timing. Sometimes it is about constancy, about presence, about showing up in whatever way we can, even when it is difficult, even when it is imperfect, even when it feels incomplete. Because the act of loving, the act of reaching, the act of hoping is enough in itself, is meaningful in itself, is a testament to the depth and sincerity of what exists between us, even if it has never been spoken aloud, even if it has never been fully acknowledged, even if the world around us fails to notice. And I hope you recognize that. I hope you feel that. I hope you see in these words a reflection of something real, something persistent, something that cannot be erased or diminished by time, distance, or circumstance, because love that is true persists, endures, and continues to grow, even in the quietest corners of the heart, even in moments of fear or doubt, even when it seems like the world is moving in another direction, even when it seems like there is no audience, no witness, no recognition, because the heart knows, and the heart remembers, and the heart continues to love, even when the mind is uncertain, even when the eyes cannot see, even when the voice is silent. And I hope you understand that this message, fragile as it may be, is an attempt to bridge that gap, to bring visibility to what has always been present, to offer a glimpse into the parts of me that exist because of you, that breathe because of you, that hope because of you, and that even in the uncertainty of whether you watch this or feel this, the act of expressing, it is a truth that cannot be undone, a truth that demands acknowledgement, a truth that exists in its own right as a testament to the persistence of love, the courage of the heart, and the unshakable hope that one day, somehow, these words will reach you, will land softly, will be understood in the way they were intended, as a reflection of a love that has always existed, quietly, persistently, unconditionally, waiting only for this moment, waiting only for this opportunity, waiting only for you to see, to hear, to feel, to know, to recognize, to exist in the understanding of what has always been true, and what will continue to be true, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of time, regardless